with the dust of the earth. Amen, amen,
So,
Selah.
Great. Thank you. All right. So, what line in the poem resonated with you as you begin to think about your own preparation for Passover?
All that rises up bitter, all that rises up prideful.
Okay.
At the end.
What does that bring up for you?
Oh, because I don't necessarily always think of Passover like in, I guess, such a personal sense. So I think of it more, in this like chametz, it's bread, right? Like it's all the stuff that's not kosher for Passover, but it's talking definitely more abstract. And I guess I just never really think of it like that. I never think of it in terms of my own self.
Mm-hmm.
I think of it in more of terms of my life.
Mm-hmm. That you now are thinking about it like that, or you
Now I am, yeah, but I don't, when I'm normally doing it, I'm not thinking about, like when I'm getting ready for Passover, the last person I am thinking about is myself. I'm just thinking about what we have to do in order to get ready for Passover. So I'm not thinking of any spiritual journey
right
that I should be taking. I'm thinking about, okay, the kitchen's got to get done and what food needs to get started and when's, what date we're going to start cooking. And there is no consciousness of self. It's more about everything and everyone else around me.
Right. So the many Hasidic commentators, Sfat Emet especially, he talked about chametz as being like the inflated part of you, right? Your ego, and kind of having a check on your ego. That this is a time to kind of like be humble and to learn about that, to look within yourself and clean out those parts of yourself. There are other commentators say that's our yetzer hara, that we could kind of look at the kind of evil inclination that we have within us and say, like, how do we tamp that down a little bit for these days. One of the things to think about is excess, right? We're many of us, this whole country is going through a very tough economic time. So, how do we kind of tamp down on excess and be okay with it? Be okay with simplicity, right? That's wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, Karen.
I think that's interesting. I think this entire time period right now is about humbling. Something we can't see, something we can't touch is causing all this disruption, right? And that, I agree, I forget who was just saying, it's like the busyness of Passover is now gone. It's, at least for us, it's me, my husband, and the dogs. I clean, it'll be quick. But
Right.
There's compulsive buying. There's no compulsive planning. And I think it's about looking at that humbleness. I've been very connected to that over the past few days, how humbling this whole experience is. So.
Thank you. All right. Any other lines that jump out of you that really hit you differently?
I've just realized that since I moved to Florida, I've become very negative about Passover, and I didn't realize that it had something to do with living here. And the whole passage about opening the windows and feeling so fresh and coming from the winter and just having that newness in your house and remembering that that spiritual feeling in your home. I don't have that here.
Yeah, because it
just goes from one to the next. I'm just a slave to my home at this period, and I'm cleaning and I'm changing dishes and doing what I'm supposed to be doing and not really enjoying a lot of it.
Wow, thank you. I hope this year is better in that way.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. is there anything else? Anyone else? All right. Right? No? Okay, so let's go. I want to go to the next question, which is, what does it mean to search the high and low places inside you? What are we searching for as we prepare for Passover? So think about the story, bless you. This is the story of from going from slavery to freedom, but what are we searching high and low, the place inside of you? What do you think the poet meant, or what does it mean to you? It's kind of a Lane alluded to a little bit.
Well, maybe it's like the things that you are proud of and the things you're not so proud of. Like the good parts of, like the parts of yourself that you like to put on display and those parts that you hide away. Yeah.
So Alyssa brings up an interesting point.
I was a plant. I came here just the right time.
Just the right time. But, the things that we put out there that we're proud of and the things we put out there we're not proud of. Thinking about, I always talk about our online lives and the kind of avatars that we create through our social media accounts. And then the real lives. Now we are even more so into that. What are we putting out into the world? Because everyone is watching. If people were watching before, they're watching a lot more now, right? Everything you post is going to be read over and over again, and people are posting more, and what do we put out there? And what do we share with others? What do we not share? But when it comes to Pesach, I think the interesting thing is, if you're going to be there with your family, it's going to be just you, right? And it's going to be not the avatar that you are online, but it's the real you. How are you going to be to those people around you? So that's an interesting thing, but it's also to think about, how are we going to present ourselves in these next 3 weeks to the world, right? The next question is, what do you think the poem meant when she asked us to look into our pockets for traces of Mitzrayim? So I want to explain, what is Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim means Egypt. And the word Mitzrayim, the root of the word is tsar, which is narrow. Kol ha'olam kulo gesher tsar me'od. The whole world is a narrow bridge. The most important part is not to be afraid. Mitzrayim literally means the narrow place. So it's not just Egypt, but it is a place of constriction. It's a place of slavery. It's a place where our throats are closed, right? Where we are fearful and scared. So look into your pockets and the pockets of those around you for traces of Mitzrayim. What do you think they mean when they act?
Maybe it's like you said, like slaves to the phone, or slaves. That's always in your pocket. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, actually. I love that.
I also think it's like what we're carrying. I think what we're carrying around inside of us that we're using to enslave ourselves, and maybe it's something as concrete as a phone, or maybe it's something as abstract as a thought that you constantly have, and I mean, it's in your pocket, you're looking for it, you're touching it, you're holding on to it instead of letting it go.
Something that's holding you down, that's keeping you constricted. Yeah, I like that. All right, anyone else?
Well, in the poem, it said that we want to get rid of it and give it to the earth. And so when you die and you're going back to the earth, well, maybe you can let go some of these feelings of slavery and let it die and go back to the earth and start it anew.
I like that. That's a great lead into the next question, which is, according to the poet, what renews us during Passover?
one of the things that renews us is family and the interaction, as we look at Passover Seders and talk about what we're going to do in the future. And I was thinking I'm really going to miss that, but my family, because of distance, has not been able to get together as a group for a Seder for quite some time. And now I'm sort of excited about maybe being able to get them all together to do it on Zoom or something like that, to where we can actually have a presence together.
Yeah. So there's a Rav Kook, very famous rabbi. He was the rabbi of first chief rabbi of Jerusalem. He famously said, "We make the old new and the new holy," right? And so we have here this idea of like the old. This is what it was to sit around a table with a whole bunch of family. Now we can't do that this year. So the new is Zoom. And what do we do with Zoom, right? We make it holy. That's what we're doing right now, right? It's just a platform. It's what we do with that platform that matters. I like that.
I mean, isn't another way to think of what renews us during Passover is typically, and I think we're all probably thinking, what are we doing this year? Is that whole kind of spring cleaning, right? We get rid of that old. How many of us go through that pantry and get rid of everything in the refrigerator and bring in the new and start anew? You know, you've got your grocery list for Passover and then the replenishing of everything after Passover. But I'm not sure we're going to have that sense this year.
Well, we've already started with the cleaning because of this virus. We've already started with the bleach, and we have a cleaner home already.
Yeah. So, but you're saying that, Heidi, what you're saying is like the next part, which is the buying part, like of replenishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know,
is anyone really going to let go of everything they have?
Right.
Not knowing if we can get that back. Like,
right.
I think that's a real consideration.
You know, you get such a wonderful feeling. I started doing some Pesach shopping today, non-perishable things, and you get such a wonderful, I at least get such a wonderful feeling because I have these foods once a year. And shopping for this really feeds my soul, which is really a unique way of saying it right now. But just having these special foods and starting to prepare already, even knowing it might just be 2 of us here or maybe 3 people, I'm already trying to get in that mood that I usually get into for Passover, even though the last couple of years I haven't spent it. I've spent it with my daughter, but knowing that I'm going to be spending it here, and I actually enjoyed being in the store today and being amongst other Jewish people that were buying for Pesach as well, starting already. And you can get that feeling, if you let yourself get that feeling for the holiday, and try not to look at the negativity because there's so much out there. And just try to look at the positive of the holiday, even if you are going to be less people.
Yeah. And so it could be that what renews us is the preparation of it. You know, what renews us, it might be in a sense of it's a transformation, right? And the cleaning and everything that it might take our minds off a little bit about what we're going through, or help us get through what we're going through. Help us acknowledge what it is like to be in a narrow place and how we feel free from it. Right.
So, Rabbi, it's so interesting because I always felt the renewal of Passover was 8 days of sort of not eating in restaurants and really being at home. And you're right. But if things continue the way they are, we'll be like that from now until then. But under normal years, those 8 days to me are really, in some ways, rejuvenating because you're in a positive way, but forced to be with your friends, forced to be at somebody's home if you keep Passover who's keeps it as well. And I just love it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the more difficult things about Passover this year is Passover. Sukkot is like a holiday when you go to people's homes and you're going to their Sukkot. Passover, Elaine brings up a really interesting point because I find ourselves like going out more during the week to people's homes because like to certain people's homes, because it's like, you can't go out to dinner. You really, unless you want to, sell some stock or something, which you can't do anyway. So, because it's so expensive, right? So you go to people's homes and you have leftovers but it's a time of like kind of hopping around a little bit. And unfortunately, we're not going to have that this year. So that's something. It's a loss that we're going to feel. But Elaine brings up a point of like, it's a home-based holiday, and we don't go out, and but we're going to be home a lot. So this is like a long Passover where we get to eat bread during it. So so we are at the end of our team here. I want to thank you all. If you want to do this every Thursday for the next, if you want to do, we have 2 more. If you want to do the 2 next Thursdays, I'm happy to do this. We can do a different topic, something about Passover preparation. Let me know. Oh, we got a thumbs up. And just be together, that's just always a good thing. And we could talk through some of these issues together. So any final words, final things anyone want to say?
You did give me an idea, because usually we would have other people at the dinner table and we wouldn't have Zoomed with my son in Los Angeles. I know that he will be alone with his wife, so that's a great idea. So now we'll probably do it with him. So thank you.
Just make sure whoever you sell the chametz to doesn't keep it. And get it back.
That's it. Yeah. No, but and I think that maybe this year you sell a little bit more than you throw away, because we don't know what's going to happen, right? So listen, I wish everyone a good rest of the week and an early Shabbat Shalom. We are going to have a Zoom here tomorrow at 6:15. Let me share that. I'll send our email to you with all the login info. 6:15. We're going to be doing Mincha, Kabbalat Shabbat, and some singing as we bring in Shabbat. And so I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, early Shabbat Shalom. Have a great rest of the night, and hope to see you either Friday or next Thursday. I hear the yelling in the background, so that's a cue for going to help out. So be well, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Take care.
Everybody feel good. Stay
everybody.
It's nice seeing you.
So.
Stay healthy.